Hi guys, just a quick rundown on my UI. I've had quite a few people asking me if I could do a tutorial or link my UI, which unfortunately I cannot. So here we are. Okay, first up we have my action bars. I am using an add-on called Dominoes, which is this here. You can see on the minimap, if I left click this, it will bring me into the options. First thing we see, I have bars hidden at the side. This is pretty much just stuff that I do not need to keep track of. Summoning pets, mounts, pet passive, misdirect macro, stuff like that, you know, wing clip. You'll see I have my traps and my flare here. Reason being is I track those with a weak aura. You can see at the bottom of my screen. And these will show when the ability is on cooldown and won't when it is not. So I'll know when it's ready to use. It just clears up some space on the screen. As for setting this up, extremely easy. All you have to do is right click on the bar and it will bring up this page. These options are pretty straightforward, just size, you know, how many columns you want, spacing, the scale, all that good stuff. Advanced, I wouldn't go too far into. Fading is only something I use for my bars at the side, and I set faded opacity to 0, which means I can still hover over the bar if I actually need to see something on it or change it. That's pretty much that. Next we have my nameplates, which are these boys over the NPCs. For this I'm using an add-on called Plater, which is this. Highly recommend this add-on. If you want to import profiles, you can go to a website called mythic.io, which is this here, and you can download different profiles from there. Reason this add-on is so good, you have this option here called modding, which you can again download mods from mythic.io and import. All this does is it changes stuff in the nameplates. So, for example, cast target on spell name. So, if we were in a key, for example, and there was 4 casters, and all 4 casters were targeting the same person, we would know that person has to use an immunity, or we need to stop those casts, or, you know, they need an external, etc. Or, again, another instance of that is if 2 of them were casting on the tank, and we know the tank can take 2 casts from this mob. We don't have to kick those abilities, and we can pool kicks for, say, more important casts or casts on more important people. Stuff like this. Singles, stuff like this. Interrupt not ready. What this will do is it will change the cast bar to blue if my kick is not ready, and it will change it to purple if it is ready. It just makes it easier to see the kick if I'm not tracking it at the time or something needs to be kicked instantly, you know. This is kind of hunter only, just renames like Irvi and Woe to Speed Haste and CD Aura. Yeah, just pretty much stuff like this. It's nothing too crazy, but I would highly recommend getting this add-on. Next we have my add-on to, it pretty much just puts a border on your action bars. So you can see here, if we go to default, this is what the bars look like standard, and with mask you can see it just adds a nicer finish to it. Again, you can find all of these in the same place where you will find the add-on, the download client for add-ons, whatever it's called. I cannot remember. Yeah, that's pretty much that. What else do we have? Okay, we have unit frames. Shadowed unit frames. This is probably the trickiest one to set up and will take the most time. General, not a hell of a lot to see here. It's just bar textures, backgrounds, borders, all that kind of stuff. Profiles, you can see I cannot export it, unfortunately. Which is kind of sad. It would have made this a lot easier. Enabled units. This is whichever units you want to have enabled. So for me, player, pet, you know, target, focus, all of the bog standard stuff. If you play arena, you might want to have arena on, rated battlegrounds, etc. I prefer to use the standard Blizzard frames. I find that add-on raid frames usually bug quite a bit, and I don't really want to have to be dealing with that, so I'll leave that off. Unit configuration. So if we go here, we can see you can enable the portrait, all this kind of stuff. I leave alone. I don't really see a reason to have this turned on. I just like the bars looking as clean as possible. Scale, again, self-explanatory. Changing the size and the position, all that kind of stuff. Power bars, health bars, you know. Heal absorbs, incoming heals, incoming absorbs. Widgets, this will just change the size of like your power bar or your health bar. Buffs and debuffs, I have these turned off. Reason being, I do not look at my unit frames to track buffs or debuffs. I check above the nameplate, which is where I should be looking, and you should be looking too. When you're in keys, when you're in raid, it doesn't really matter because, well, this is not your main focus. So, widgets will just show you icons for class role, leader assist, master looter, all that stuff will show you over your unit frame. I have these turned off because, again, no reason to track them. Text and tags. This is where you can change what you want to see as text on the bar. So I only have current HP, and from my target I have current HP and percentage HP. This is really all I need to see. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for this one. Again, okay, hide Blizzard. This is just which Blizzard unit frames you want to hide. So it's pretty much whichever you're showing as shadowed unit frames, you're gonna want to hide the Blizzard ones. Yeah, this is something you should probably sit down for an hour and a half, have a look through, and configure it how you like. It's worth it in my opinion. Okay, that's it for add-ons. It should be details. I'm sure everybody uses this. Angry keystones, big debuffs. This will show. So say I have my pet. Okay, he just disappeared. Nice game. Okay, let's stun this guy. You can see on the right side, it will show me the intimidation duration. Just makes it easier to track CCs on mobs. Yeah. And we have bigwigs. You can use bigwigs or deadly boss mods. I prefer bigwigs, and I use bigwigs voice. I do not really look at the bars. I respond better to audio cues than you know, visual cues. This is just to change my tooltip, and I can place it wherever I want on the screen. So you can see here I have it just above my meters. The default Blizzard one was covering the meters, which I did not like. So I downloaded this. No setting up required. You just install it, go into the options, and you can move it wherever you want on your screen. Details, there's dominoes again. These are not really important. Little Wigs, this is just the dungeon version of Big Wigs. Mask, this is the Skinner add-on I was telling you about. Method raid tools, this is just to do with raiding. Again, not really important if you're not raiding, and if you are, you're probably already having it. Move anything. Again, I do not use this, I don't know why it's enabled. Mythic dungeon tools, MDT. So just you can plan your routes and stuff. You see like polls, poll counts, etc., stuff like that, for different dungeons. Really nice add-on to have if you're big into playing keys. Nice damage. This is a skin for the damage that comes out of the mobs. It's just a bit nicer to look at. I liked it, so I decided to use it. Omni CC, again, not really important. It's just timers for different spells. Plater, nameplates, quartz. This I use for my cast bars. Raider IO, or Zero Console, yeah. None of these are too important. Weakauras sound pack. It's nice to have, not mandatory. You can just add sounds to your Weakauras, ones that are already not imported. Again, pretty nice to have. So last I will show you my Weakauras. I don't use too many Weakauras, he says, with all of this, but this is basically just a Weakaura to alert me when Bloodlust is used, plays a sound, shows an icon. Turtle shows me the duration of Turtle. I know if it's going to run out, or if I can sit in it for another ability coming out. It's nice to have. Again, not mandatory, but nice to have. Background nameplates, doesn't really matter. This is just a cast bar Weakaura that I made myself. Combat time shows me how long a fight is going on. No reason to have it, it's just kind of there. This is Weakaura for if you type ! keys, we'll show you what keys are in the party, guild, etc. This is a nice add-on to have, Dungeon, Raider IO, and class. So if I go into the Dungeon Finder, it will show me what classes are in the group. So if I see this group, it has a hunter in it. I'm not going to waste my time signing for it, right? Because they're not going to take 2 hunters. Yeah, just a nice add-on to have, or a nice Weakaura to have, rather. This is my focus Weakaura, again something I made myself, really easy. No pet will alert me if my pet is dead or I haven't got it summoned. These are my traps and yeah, all this kind of stuff that is not super important, but I don't want it cluttering up my screen. Killshot Weakaura. I believe I use this for marksman because I don't have killshot on my bar. This is for a raid boss, I believe. This is my 4-piece proc on my tier set. Predator. This again is Bloodseeker talent. Again, yeah, I'd say track this. This is kind of important. Rampage. This is from my warrior. I don't even know why it's here. Resilience of the hunter. This is a conduit. Which this one here. When Feign Death ends, you take 11% reduced damage. Really nice conduit to play. I usually play it myself, and this will just show you how long the buff lasts. So Hunter's not really known for having too many defenses. It's nice to get used to feigning to mitigate some damage, and this Weakaura can help you. This is my 4-set proc. No, this is my legendary for marksmanship. Will show me when I get a proc. Can know then if I have a free aim shot cast or not. Serpent Sting shows me Serpent Sting uptime. Steward, because I like to hide the Kyrian Steward, tip of the spear. Not something you really need to track in keys, but it can be nice for a raid if you really want to min-max. This is my Pelagos proc. This. Your 10% agility buff. So what this will do, it will show an icon, it will play sound, and I will know that the guy is up and I have to turn and face him. Pretty straightforward. Ultimate mouse cursor, which I deleted everything out of because I don't know why. And yeah, everything else is just kind of raid add-on or raid Weakauras and stuff, or different classes, stuff like that. Pretty straightforward. For macros, I don't use anything too crazy. At cursor macros is pretty much it. So when I press binding shot, for example, I don't have the green circle show up and then have to click twice. You know, it's just press once, it goes off. For me, I find it a lot quicker. It should be a lot quicker, but yeah, I would recommend using these. Feign Death, stop casting, cast Feign Death, just in case you're casting and you need to feign really quick. You don't want to wait for the cast to finish, you just want to feign. Flare, pretty much the same thing. Kill command, these are Beast Mastery. Because if you did not know, excuse me, there is a delay in your pet special abilities, so you actually can lose out on DPS by not macroing these into your Beastmaster abilities. Misdirect, you can see our guild tank in here, and this comes back to actually this macro here. So I have a separate macro. So say I target my pet. Say this is a new tank that just entered the group. I target him, I press this macro, and what this will do is it will change the name, you see. That way, this misdirect macro will always go on the person that I've used this macro on. It prevents me from having to put tanks on focus, and I can use focus for focus kicks, etc. in keys. So, same goes. If I target myself, press this macro, go into my macros, and the name is changed to me. Back to my pet, and now it's on my pet. And I just press my misdirect, and it goes on my pet. No focus macros needed, or focus, yeah, focus macros and focus frames. Again, at cursor for volley, because I don't want to have to click it twice. My turtle is just to cancel my turtle after I use it. Be careful with this, you don't want to be spamming it and cancel it too early. And at cursor, resonating arrow. Pretty much anything that brings up the green circle you can use at cursor for. It makes things a lot quicker. in my opinion. Carve, this, I just wanted a different icon on Carve. I didn't like the blue. Blue beside blue, it just drove me crazy. I don't know why. Camo, this is so camo will just stay on my bar even if I change from camo to natural mending. And swap back, I don't have to drag it back onto my bar again, right? So it's always going to be there on the keybind that I leave it on. Coordinated assault, if your orc or your trinkets, etc., macro them into one. Ideally, you want to be casting all at the same time, except for some situations, but generally in keys, I would macro all these together. Especially Blood Fury and Coordinated Assaults, since they share the same cooldown. Can be kind of weird in keys when you're killing and it throws off the cooldown, but in raid and stuff, yeah, for sure. This is a mouse over tranquilizing shot. So a good example would be first boss in Theater of Pain, right? You pull the Bloodhorn onto the bosses and you want to be killing Desia, but at the same time well, it would depend. If it's Tyrannical Week, you want to be focusing Desia. What this will allow me to do is focus Desia while still being able to mouse over tranquilizing shot the enrage on the ad. So I'm targeting this, and my macro is not on my bar, so that's great. Try that again with the macro. Okay, I'm targeting this mob, and I mouse over this. And it tranquilizes this. Accelerate, useless macro, I don't know why that's in there. Focus muzzle, again this is gonna be my focus kick. This was for the Mage Tower. Mouse over Serpent Sting, I don't think this is on my bar either anymore. Yeah, I didn't like this macro a lot, but it can be handy when multi-dotting. This is a pet misdirect. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So there is one more macro. No, actually I've gone over them all. I will leave this macro in the description. What you basically have to do for this misdirect macro is you make two separate macros. So you make this one. This is the one that you will target, say your tank or whatever, and you'll press it and you'll see this pop up at the bottom. And then this is the one that you will actually use for your misdirect. So yeah, I think that's everything I've covered. Anything else you guys want to know, or if there's anything I left out, you can let me know and I'll try and get it covered. Okay? Thanks guys. Bye bye.